What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, I'm going to be doing a test of my Oupes 600-watt solar generator. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to tumble some brass. So here I have a few drums full of 10mm brass. And there's probably, I don't know, 200 or 300 cases between those 4 drums, maybe more, I didn't count. But I have this rotary tumbler here from Chicago Electric. I got this at Harbor Freight. This thing is excellent. I tumble all of my brass with this tumbler. Okay, it's just a dual drum rotary rock tumbler. It's got a 3400 RPM motor and it uses 29 watts. So this thing can fit 2 of these drums. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect one tumbler with 2 drums to this Oupes 600-watt solar power bank. And I'm going to see if I can tumble all of the cases without draining the battery. And I want to see how much juice it takes to tumble 2 of these drums, okay, which should be around 200 cases between these 2 drums here, okay? I didn't actually count, but it's a good amount. So why am I doing this test? Well, I want to know if I can use this power bank or solar generator or battery, whatever you want to call it, during an SHTF situation to clean my brass and hand load. All right, if we're talking about a long-term grid down situation, there might be shortages of ammunition. Most likely there will be shortages of ammunition and you won't be able to find anything. Whatever you have is what you're going to have unless you can barter with someone. But most people are not going to want to barter away their ammunition. Ammunition is going to be like gold after SHTF. It's going to be as valuable as food. So people aren't going to be giving away their ammo to you unless they're like super hungry or really thirsty or something like that and you have some food and water. But basically I just want to know, can I fully tumble 2 of these drums without draining the battery, and how much of the battery is it going to use up? I typically run these tumblers for about 5 hours to get them fully cleaned. I might just do like 3 hours for this test because 3 hours is usually enough. If there's any little bit of residue, you can clean it out by hand with a primer pocket cleaner or some kind of a bristle brush to brush the inside of the case, because we're talking about pistol cases here. They're very easy to brush out with just a standard neck brush. You can get in there and just clean out the inside, or even just a plastic bore brush. You can get in there and just clean out any kind of leftover stuff. So I'm going to run this for 3 hours. I'm going to have 2 of these drums. And let's see how much juice this is going to take up. Is it going to drain the battery, or is it going to drain half of it, or 30%? So just to show you guys, we got 99%. So it's basically 100% charged, okay? So let me get these drums set up here and we'll turn it on. All right, guys, so they're tumbling. Power seems to be good. And these drums are pretty filled up. I got a lot of cases in there, so it might be a little bit overloaded, but that's okay. I'd rather test it a little bit overloaded rather than underloaded. So let me just show you guys what's going on over here. So got 38 watts output so far, and it's showing 14 hours of runtime right now. If I keep it on like this, 14 hours. So it should be enough. Let's see what happens. Let's see how much juice it's going to drain. All right, guys, so on the right I have the other 2 drums that are running off of AC power. They're connected to the wall. And then on the left is the one connected to the battery. So they seem to be rotating at around the same speed. I don't notice any difference in power. So there's the one connected to the wall. So I'm going to come back in 3 hours and let's see what happens. Alright guys, so I had it run for 3 hours. I just turned it off and looks like we only drained 10%. So that's really good. Really impressed by that. So let's open up these drums and see what our brass looks like and see if we need to leave it in there for a little longer. I usually like to leave it in for 5 hours, but let's just take a look at the brass and see what it looks like first. Alright guys, so here's our brass after 3 hours of tumbling with the Oupes 600W battery, and the brass looks good. Look inside, it's nice and clean. Check that out. It's just a couple here I took out just to show you guys. Nice and clean in there. You can see there's no fouling in there. Primer pockets are pretty good. So that's really good. I'm really impressed by that Oupes 600W solar generator. Look at the inside of this case, guys. So that's really good. I think for good measure, I'm going to let it tumble maybe another hour or so, and then we'll be good to go. All right, guys. Let's leave it in for another hour and see how much power it drains from this battery. But you can see that tumbler's moving nice and fast. Alright guys, so I let the tumbler run actually another 2 hours instead of another hour. And we're down to 81%. So it did drain quite a bit of the battery. But I just wanted to see how much it would drain if I let it run for 5 hours. Usually for pistol cases, 2 or 3 hours is plenty. But if you're tumbling some large rifle cases, you usually have to tumble it like 4 to 5 hours to really clean them out, because the cases are so large and the stainless steel pins don't all go inside the case, and they don't really clean it out good enough if you only let them tumble for 2 hours or 3 hours. But pistol cases, like I said, you could tumble for even an hour and then just use a primer pocket cleaner and some kind of a brush to clean out the inside if there's any crud left over on the inside of the cases. But that's pretty much it for this one, guys. So if you have one of these solar generators, this is what you can expect if you're going to wet tumble brass. You're going to use about 10 to 20% of your battery, depending on how many hours you let it run. So it's definitely doable, though. So just something to consider in your preps, in case you're a hand loader like me. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.